Doc Leeson here, the podcasting beast from the East, coming at you live back from the great state of North Carolina with the Professor John Gotti, the King of RNG, the Troll Master, the Data Analyzing Ninja, the Conqueror. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the Terminator, Prophet not Prophetsaurus, Prophet
That was 2 days in a
the
row. 2 days in a
wild,
row.
the wild card, Professor Omega, the Cleaner. How you doing there, boyo?
Well, I am the best podcasting machine and the wise man for your reigning, defending, undisputed podcasting world champion of the world, who is also the head of the table, our tribal chief, the sultan of squat, the Pied Piper of podcasting, the sanitizer, the conqueror, the beast, Doc God. What's going on, man? It's
I'm
Wednesday.
doing good.
How you
Oh,
feel?
it,
You're back home and everything too.
I'm back. I'm
Don't you know what I'm
back.
gonna do when you say that? You know. Let's just keep it going, man.
Back on the bench, exactly.
Yeah, but shout
Um,
outs to Doc, man.
Shout out to you, man. It's the least I could do. It's the least I could do.
Oh, he's starting here.
But
Oh.
Johnny, we had an apology issued from young Dak Prescott. Says, "My bad, refs. You didn't deserve to get garbage thrown at you. Come on."
I mean, that's PR situation. We love
I mean, but to be so salty that your coach called a, quarterback sneak pretty much, or quarterback draw. I mean, come on, that's not the ref's fault. I mean, all he
that. No.
did was try to spot the ball. I mean, come on, man. Come on. Let's be honest. All he tried to do was spot the ball. But he said he got caught up in his emotion of the disappointing loss, and his words were uncalled for and unfair. Of course, this is the PR part, as he holds the NFL officials in the highest regard and has always respected their professionalism and difficulty of their job. But at the end of the day, I mean, he could have caused a riot at any moment, and I'm glad those refs were able to get out of there.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. The entire situation probably shouldn't have happened the way that it did, but it did. All we could do at this point is learn from it. And of course, one young Dakota Prescott kind of had to learn that lesson the hard way. It's something that you don't do, especially as a quarterback, especially as a black quarterback in the NFL. You already have all those things going against you, and then for you to support the fans doing that, and then going back on what you said, like sometimes it's probably better for you just to say it with your chest, honestly. um
Right?
I mean, was it the right thing for him to say? No. Should he
No,
tweet about it? Absolutely not. But if he
without
said that
question.
within the locker room, totally acceptable, because I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
we probably had players in the back who definitely agree with him at that point in time. But of course, as a
Hmm.
quarterback, you can't do that. It's just you just can't do that at all. It has nothing.
Right.
It has no place in this business. But Doc, you and I both know, man, those refs, those refs had to get the bleep out of Dodge so
Immediately,
fast
once he said the
because
game was over.
yo, it literally reminded me of the trash game back in Cleveland like so many years ago, where they got
It actually,
screwed and they
it's
were
so
just
funny.
throwing beer bottles, which is why they actually changed the rules to now they get, I want to say, either
Uh,
cans or like plastic
Cans,
bottles
or
now.
yeah, I think it's cans. But I believe it reminds me, like when he said the ball game was over, it kind of reminded me of the end of Friday Night Lights, when they
Ooh.
went to play the team. I want to say the Houston team, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah, it was the
or the
Houston
quote
team. It was the
or
Houston
the
team.
quote or the quote unquote thug team. We never. I was hoping that Flemlo would talk about that, how they misrepresented that team. But
Oh yeah, that was. I mean, it
yeah,
wasn't his video. It was someone else's video, but they had Flemlo part of the interview for it.
hey, it would be good if they were able to bring that in, because that was a good. that was a good session that they were having. I wish one day we have to talk about it.
Yeah.
I'll have to watch it, of course. I mean, I just listened as a bystander.
No, I
Uh,
definitely listened to the whole thing.
but Johnny, we also had some personnel coaching fires after 4 seasons. Ken Norton, who was a head coaching candidate at one point over the years for what he's done in Seattle, is out after 4 years, fired by the Seattle Seahawks, as well as their defensive passing game coordinator, Andre Curtis. Um, I'm not sure. I mean, the Seahawks did rank 28th in defense this year, obviously 31st in the pass defense. Um, I mean, they did have one of the best red zone defenses, but yikes, Ken Norton. I don't know. I'm sure he'll be picked up. I mean, Seattle did have a lot of injuries.
Yep. According to
They did.
Sports Illustrated, he's top one of the top candidates for the Jacksonville Jaguars job.
Ken Norton.
Hmm.
I'm not buying it. I think the Jaguars know exactly who they want. I'm so glad to hear that it's not going to be Bill O'Brien though. I did read that this morning. Very happy about that, Johnny. I did not want to see Bill O'Brien in the NFL for at least 2 to 3 more seasons. I'm really hoping that nobody picks him up
That's
because that
actually
would
pretty
be
funny.
buns.
That's actually pretty
Uh,
funny. I'm not gonna lie.
but Johnny, we got some power rankings. We got Andy Reid comparing winning the Super Bowl to eating chocolate cake with the ultimate frosting. Trey Lance imitating Aaron Rodgers in practice. I mean, but we got these power rankings, which I don't think that's gonna equate to anything in these power rankings. So let's go through it here. We got number one still the Green Bay Packers. Obviously, they're rested. They got their tackles back.
Yep. They also got their linebacker back too.
They might be back.
I
They
mean,
might be
they're gonna
back.
be they're gonna be scary. They're gonna be scary. They're coming off of a bye week, as Doc mentioned before, and they're getting a lot of those weapons back. And Aaron Rodgers able to take an extra week off as well too. I mean, the offensive line, despite the fact that they lost David Bakhtiari for pretty much most of the season, they're just getting him back now. Played really
Hmm.
really well,
Hmm.
despite it all. And now with him back, and with everything else that's going on with them, I mean, yikes.
Yeah, but I like how this article talks about Alan Lazard developing into a legit number two.
Hmm.
I think they also have the two nice running back pair. Obviously, we know Aaron Jones, who let me down last season, but
He said
I
it.
think that yeah, yeah, I definitely said it. But they have a good. They got a good set of backs. I mean, AJ Dillon, although I'm sure he hasn't come along as I guess as that strong back as they would want to. Um,
No,
I
I
think the
think I
tandem.
don't know about that. I think it would depend on what they would need at the moment, because we kind of talked about that last year with the Bucks, and of course we'll get to the Bucks in this list, of course. But like we kind
Hmm.
of talked about with the Bucks, and I think it was before the Saints game. I was like, they just need to run the ball more with Leonard Fournette, and they're going to be successful. And that's pretty much what happened. It just really just depends on the situation. So I mean, you may see a game where AJ Dillon might run for 75 yards or something like that.
Very, very rare. Very rare. When I say
Huh.
rare, I mean rare.
I mean,
Well, no, I'm just kidding. I mean, he looked like he did pretty good. Obviously, they're really doing split backs there. I don't know. It's kind of weird. He had 187 carries for 803 yards, 5 touchdowns. Aaron Jones, 171 for 799 yards, 4 touchdowns. So maybe he has come along, and I just, maybe I'm just a casual. I'm just a casual.
well, speaking of number two, we have the Buffalo Bills. That wasn't a game at all. That
Practice.
was
That was a practice.
that was a mercy killing.
It was like a quick little scrimmage.
Actually, no, that wasn't a mercy killing. We'll get to that one for number three. But the Bills looked like the legitimate Super Bowl caliber talent that we thought they would be at the beginning of the season.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, it was at the expense of Bill Belichick and Matt Jones. But I mean, people who don't like the Patriots are absolutely elated that they got
Hmm.
destroyed. It was just a trouncing. I mean, that's all we can really say. We just got to see if they can stay consistent. And I mean, with the upcoming matchup, it ain't gonna be easy.
Agreed. I mean, I like the last two sentences here of this power ranking. It says Allen has established himself as a giant in the league and the new king of the AFC East that no longer resides in Bill Belichick's back pocket. And then it
Ooh.
says, yes, the bully was sent home with a fat lip and two black eyes. Fair. That's very fair. I mean, for 20, practically 20 years, they dominated the AFC East.
Yeah, but is that more on the Patriots being so good, or the rest of the AFC East not, stepping up? Because I mean, they had some competitors with those Jets team with Rex Ryan for those couple of years.
Yeah, and the Dolphins make splashes,
Yeah,
not just these last 2 years, but I mean, they've had splashes of good seasons. It's just always been Belichick winning at the end, always winning at the
death,
end.
taxes, and Belichick winning in the end.
Hmm. Hmm. But yeah, I think it's going to be a good game with the number three team on this list, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, the first sentence says it all. It started poorly for the Chiefs.
Yeah,
That was it.
I just
And
love the paradigm shift in how people talk about the Chiefs though.
yeah,
But yes, the offense. I mean, honestly, it was really just the offense was they just couldn't get things going. They had a very very young offensive line. Doc mentioned it at the start of the season. That was one of the things that um, Andy Reid wanted to fix immediately. And, I would say, given the way that they've been playing,
hmm
towards the last stretch of the season, and of course, the wild card game, uh, that offensive line looked amazing.
is this
And it
the
looks like
mercy
they're
killing
hitting on
that you were
all
talking about?
cylinders. And now the fact that their defense is actually playing really well on top of that, too, like they're really, really good. And of course, I mentioned, putting the team out to pasture. That's was the Pittsburgh Steelers being put out the pasture.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Big Ben was the story, but outside of the T.J. Watt fumble return, this, I mean, that
That
was
was
the
it.
only hope that they had. I mean, it was really ridiculous what we saw, but I think the Bills will be better. I think this is going to be a really good game, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it could have the potential if the Bills show up. Could have the potential to be the best game of the weekend, but we'll have to wait and see what the number four team does,
Yeah,
and
I
that
mean, of
is
course, this is also a AFC championship game rematch, of course, too, from last
rematch.
year.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, the
Well,
Bills got the revenge on the Patriots. Let's see if they can do the same thing.
oh yeah. I've been number 14 here, dropping two slots, which I mean I can understand why they would drop two slots, but after reading this, I can understand. But the defending champs were able to win against the Eagles 31 to 15. But of course, the loss of Tristan Wirfs and potential injury to Ryan Jensen and Josh Wells, who also was banged up. Um, they're saying that I mean, we're coming in kind of hurt on the offensive side,
Yeah.
which I think, toward the tail end of the season, defensively, we were banged up, if you recall. But if you remember last year in the playoffs, we were without Alex Kappa, I believe, who's not missed a snap this year, and they put in Aaron Stinney, who filled in amazingly in the
Hmm.
playoffs. So I'm expecting to see the same thing this year, with either Josh Wells or Tristan Wirth, who's in a boot. But I mean, I feel like with technology and the way medical, you know,
Modern medicine is now.
yeah, modern medicine. I mean, I'm sure they're freezing it, they're heating it, they're wrapping it, they're shooting it up. I mean, they're doing all kinds of stuff with that thing, reflexology and pool exercises, all kinds of stuff. So I expect Tristan Wirfs to try to give it a go, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. But I mean, as far as what I've seen, I mean, Brady was only sacked 2 times. Um, he found Mike Evans for what 9 catches, I believe it was.
Yep.
Gronk is still a big factor. He's building a relationship with Tyler Johnson, as I mentioned. Scotty's still coming in sparingly because I think he has a slight ankle injury. And he also has Brashon Perriman, a plethora of running backs to throw the ball out of the backfield too. So I expect there to be
And
a
the
lot of
impending return of playoff Lenny as well too, which
exactly.
isn't necessarily a bad thing.
I expect there to be a lot of quick passes. But we'll get to that when we get to the
Predictions.
prediction. But 4 is good for the Bucks. I think 4 is good. Let them think that we're hurt, right? Let's play hurt. Let's play hurt.
Lead them down to a false sense of security.
Exactly. False sense of
Speaking of
security.
false sense of security, number 5,
Ooh,
we have the
yeah.
Tennessee Titans with the impending return of the King, Derrick Henry. Not gonna, yeah, you can do that. I'm not
Henry.
gonna do that at all.
I think.
Against as they head into their divisional round matchup with the Kitty Goes Meow or the Cincinnati Bengals, as they're so eloquently are known for.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, the Titans have been the surprise of the season. People definitely thought that they were done
Hmm.
after Henry went down with his injury, but they found a way to keep on winning. And
Yeah.
they somehow managed to get a first round bye. So all the pieces are aligning for the Titans to make a legitimate run. All the pieces are aligned to make one young Duke a happy boy.
Yeah, the Duke's not believing in it, so we'll have to wait and see. Um, I don't know. I know he's saying that Derrick Henry's gonna be limited on a snap count, but
I mean, and you know what? He should be because their other backs have been playing
oh, they have been dominating.
spectacularly.
Oh, they have been dominating. But
So
even if
they
you
don't
give
need to
him,
rush to go back to the tried and true old way. Now they have 3 legitimate running backs that they can just rush down the throats of the Bengals.
no, absolutely, absolutely.
But it all
But
depends on
even
what Mike Vrabel wants to do.
but even with 15 carries, I mean that'll be
I'm
enough
just
for
saying.
Derrick. That'd
I'm
be
just
enough for
saying.
Derrick Henry, because usually he gets to about that 20 to 30, and he's already well in the 200 yards. So
Mhm.
15 to 20 runs, I think Derrick Henry will be fine. Um, and like you said, they can still use the other running backs, but we'll see. I mean, this really is going to come down to the plays that Tannehill has to make with his arm.
Yep.
Will he be able to manage the game? And this is a big game for I think Mike Vrabel, because I mean he's come to the playoffs several times in his tenure. One of
And
the
always
only
fell short.
yeah one of the successful you know I guess Belichickians, um, and it's good to see it, of course, but when will it be his time to go to the next level? You know what I mean?
Of course.
But the Bengals are coming in hot, which I assume we'll be talking about next, which is number 16. Joe Burrow is also hot. We didn't talk anything about the Titans defense, which is a lot, I mean, they're a good defense, but we have to wait and see if they can stop Jamar Chase. He went over 100 yards, I felt like, in the first half
Yep.
of the game. But I think Cincinnati, in order for them to win this game versus Tennessee, they're going to have to run the ball better. They have to
I
run the ball
agree.
better.
I agree. I also think that you should put the Titans behind the 8 ball as well too.
Ooh.
Get a pretty good lead to start off the game, or at least heading into the fourth quarter, and you know, I told you before, the Bengals are a second half team. They can score at will. I mean, I think at that point, you slam that door shut in the fourth quarter. But
Hmm.
we're gonna have to wait and see, and I can't wait to hear what we predict when we do that on Friday.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The number 7 team here, we have the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, Kyle Shanahan, similar to the Chiefs, I mean, they wrote the 49ers off. A lot of people are questioning Kyle Shanahan and his ability to lead the team, his ability to get the team ready um, and prepared for games. Obviously, they, of course, had a great game against the Cowboys, great game plan. That reverse at the end of the game was a fantastic play call.
It was
Um,
gutsy. It was,
yeah.
the right play at the right moment.
Hmm.
It was
And I think
great.
the way he changed the use of Debo Samuel mid-season, I think worked out tremendously.
Hmm.
Um, and I think they're going to be ready. Number 7 is a good spot for them. Obviously, really costly interception
Yep.
from Jimmy G
I
that
mean,
did
that
open the
plus
door,
the fumble as well too. Like for them,
and
it's
that quote
it's it's
unquote false start.
yeah, that still wasn't a false start though. But I think that's the only thing that they need to improve on is shutting down a lot of the miscues. I mean, Dallas had a lot of miscues. Let's be honest with that.
Hmm.
But they had their fair share of miscues and pretty bad penalties that they had too. So they can you know bring those down. Like the Packers are going to make them pay if they don't, and we both know this as a fact.
Yeah. Only one I don't agree with here, number 8, the Los Angeles Rams. I'm surprised they're number 8. This is surprising.
Who would you put at number 8 then?
I probably would put the 49ers at number 8, honestly. I mean, I probably would move everybody. I probably would put them between. I probably would put them in number 4 and move everybody else down. The way they dominated.
I can agree with that actually.
Yeah, I probably would put them in number
Normally, I
4.
would get on you about you trying to undercut your team, but this is one of those rare instances that I agree with it.
I'm not trying to
Um,
like put my team down to number, 8. I mean, they don't. I mean,
the the
honestly,
the
the only
Cardinals
reason
was
that
a
they
was a
dropped.
shell of a team.
Nah, I mean, they were only missing one player.
Well,
So
apparently that one player made them a shell of a team.
yeah, that's unacceptable. That's like saying Aaron Rodgers should be, losing because he was missing his top receiver. But again, he he doesn't need top receivers. He just needs the snap. Give me the snap, run the routes, and I'll find you. Even if I have to just flick the wrist. But Matthew Stafford got his first playoff win, as well as Odell Beckham. Um, Outside of the Aaron Donald choke slam and the terrible Buda Baker injury,
Yeah,
um, this was just a,
a beatdown.
a freight train, running through SoFi Stadium through the Cardinals to get to Tampa. I mean, it was only 34-11, but the score
It
does not reflect.
it does not reflect the momentum of this game whatsoever.
Yeah, but it seems like the Rams are absolutely ready for Tom Brady, saying we don't fear him, but we do respect his ability. Obviously, with an injured tackle, you know, the Rams will be coming after Brady and trying to get as many sacks as possible. But as I said, I think the Bucks are going to try to use their aggression against them, and we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yep.
But so far, my predictions right. Bucks beat Eagles to go to play the Rams. And now we just got to go ahead and beat the Rams to go play the Packers.
There you go. I can't wait
Uh,
for it. And I don't
yeah.
think it matters about after 8 because they're already out
No,
the
it doesn't.
playoffs.
They're out the
They're
playoffs.
all they're out the playoffs.
Um,
It doesn't matter.
the one thing I will say is that I'm happy that the number 10 team, the Las Vegas Raiders, are all on board with Rick Bisaccia being head coach. I've seen nothing but, praise from, Derek Carr, from what's his name, Max Crosby.
Yep.
A lot of people are saying that he's the right guy, and I do like that. And I think the Davises should take that into consideration as they go through this search.
Oh, and
But
that depends on whether or not they're going to be dealing some of these players
true,
during the off season too.
I don't think they're gonna get rid of Max Crosby though. He seems like the type of guy that you keep. He actually seems like a guy that could become a TJ Watt. He could become a league leading pass rusher with the right coaching and the opportunity.
Oh,
Because he's
absolutely.
shown great jumps, but we'll have to wait and see what Derek Carr's future unholds. But Johnny, I know
Yes.
that people heard this podcast on their favorite podcast platform, but if
Hmm.
they didn't, they can always go to our website at www.debateamongstfriends.com to review this episode as well as all the previous. Be sure to tune in tomorrow as we go over more news, more analysis, and the reads.